Getting each show daily edition into the hands of our readers takes an enormous investment in time and money and energy. We publish show daily editions at least 7 different events each year, and those events are held in 7 different countries. The preparations for each show begin at least 2 months before the event. Our reporters are making contact at the early stages with exhibiting companies, trying to tease news out of them ahead of time, and also preparing really in-depth feature articles to give that extra level of coverage that we deliver.
It's important to have a smooth setup for the on-site press rooms because I'm trying to build a productive working environment from the ground up. At some of these sites, there's nothing but an empty shell that I have 3 days to turn into a functioning newsroom for writers from around the world.
On a typical day at an air show, there could easily be as many as 20 or 30 formal press briefings that we have to cover. And on top of that, it's very likely that we've set up at least as many, again, one-on-one interviews with people in the industry. And on top of that, we may be receiving literally hundreds of press releases every single day.
Turnaround times on stories are critical. The writers all know this. That story has to get written and put into the system as soon after the event as possible, and that can be a matter of minutes.
The role of our photographers is to produce a really strong visual record of the key events at the show. And really the purpose of this is to show real detail on some of the things that we're describing, but also to capture the mood of the event. To do that job, each of our photographers may well be taking more than 1,000 images every day, and of course they then have to spend a lot of time carefully going through those images and selecting the very best ones for our readers.
When I'm working on a show daily, the primary editorial goal is to get the most and the most accurate information to the readers on a daily basis and online as soon as possible.
The show daily process is a true 24-hour cycle, and by the time our editorial team finish working on the last page at 10 p.m, they've been working on the whole issue for close to 14 hours. At that point, the action moves out to the printer, where our production team work on perfecting every page, making sure that the quality is just right, so that when the issues reach the distribution team in the early hours of the morning, they can get it right into the hands of executives at the hotels and at the convention center.
Working with magazine partners are really important, especially when it comes showtime or product announcements. We're constantly changing things last minute, and that's the beauty of working with AIN, is the constant being able to move with us, being able to adapt to our needs is really important.
If you're going to try to reach the educated consumer in the aviation space, you go to AIN.
When you ask an advertiser to make an investment, I think it's key to the advertiser to know that the publication is making the investment as well. And your finger is on the pulse of what's going on in the industry. Not just at home in an office in New York, but out in the field, on location.
Even as we're completing each day's edition, we're already working on the next one. The whole process just keeps rolling, so that from the early hours of the morning, we're up and running and already working on the news for the next day's issue. To produce each show daily edition to our very high standards takes a really exceptionally experienced team, and also a company willing to keep making the high level of investment that's required.